so much. I'm very, very excited. Very happy to be here. You know, while I think the national president, international president was speaking, I had to turn to Reverend Chooks, and I said, is everybody here a LAUTECH graduate? All of us are LAUTECH graduates. Yes. And I'm so pleasantly shocked and surprised, and but very happy that I'm in the midst of people like you know, finished from such a wonderful university, a wonderful institution that has molded us, that has made us, been a significant part of whatever we have today. And I'm glad that I'm seeing most of you very new faces. Most likely, I graduated before most of you, you know, but nevertheless, you know, we drew our source and our inspiration from the same place. And I'm so happy to be here. I want to thank you for the opportunity that you've given me. And I do not take it lightly that I'm your first speaker. I would want you to please, even if I'm not going to be a speaker, I want to continue to be here anytime. And I want you to continue in it. You know, people logging in from Ogbomoso. December 10, 11, I'm going to be in Ogbomoso too. The graduating first 3 sets, 90 to 92. I'm 92 set, the third set of the university. We also have something together. So those of us who are the foundation set, 90 to 92, we're going back to the university. We decided to come together. We have a WhatsApp group that we have created. I was instrumental to creating that WhatsApp, bringing everybody together. The first 3 sets, going back sometime later this year, just to go and see the environment, bond, and see whatever we can do. You know, and I'm so glad that what you guys have got together. I want to encourage you to please, please, please sustain this. Don't only let it be virtual or wait for the quarterly meetings or annual meetings. No, go beyond this. I belong to a particular group that I cherish most. It's my secondary set, my class of 1991. My secondary school was Federal Government College, Duane, from those states. And my class, we have formed such a unique bond. Our WhatsApp group is so vibrant that at times when you sleep, before you wake up, you see 500 chats. We still talk as if we're still in class. And the funniest thing is we're still our friends. I mean, common friends, everything. We attend events together. My father-in-law passed away a few months ago, and I did the celebration of life. I had the table for FGC because those guys came. On Friday at Radisson Blue here in Ikeja, one of the people in my class has an NGO, Women in Infrastructure, something very big NGO. And out of the panel of judges, because she was going to give awards, 2 of us were from our class, you know, and I had to leave VI 5 p.m., go to Radisson Blue 9 just to attend. And I was there, she gave me a certificate. Not many people knew that we were from the same class. It was awesome. And that's how we go around. Somebody has an event, all of us attend. Somebody has an event, all of us attend. And, you know, we do virtual Zoom meetings where we train ourselves. You know, somebody, you know, the father died. We traveled all the way to Akure. The day I did my father-in-law's stuff, that same day, somebody was also doing his own father in Akure. So they finished from Akure and came straight to Ibadan. It was so wonderful. You know, that spirit of unity. And we need it the older we get. You know, because the older you get, it's not just about the money you make, it's not just about your family. You need that social security from some of your friends. Because your children are going to grow up and leave home. So it will be your wife and some of the old friends you have made. And can I tell you something for free? Old friends are better than new ones. There are no new friends that you are going to make. I went to my first, you know, on campus, and when they were singing, I was laughing. I was the leader of the biggest choir on campus during my time in LAUTECH, you know, before I became the president of the student union. And, you know, and I still see all these things. I still have those friends that were formed from way back. So it goes beyond the quarterly and annual meetings. I want to encourage you to come together more. I want to encourage you to have a very vibrant WhatsApp. Okay, people will discuss various things. Don't let it only be spiritual things. Okay, man is tripartite. I mean, yes, spirit. Okay, you have a soul and you live in a body. So we discuss football. We do banters. Okay, we discuss food. We do exercise. People will record themselves doing exercise and challenge other people. Yeah, record your own. You know, I'm yet to record my own. But when I do my own is going to beat all of them. Okay, and all that and all that. And but beyond that, one of the things, you know, I share a lot of stories, so you permit me to share my stories. I'm just trying to be like Jesus. You know, he's always speaking in parables. Most of the things he taught were true stories. Okay. And you know, one of the things that really, you know, please sit down, please sit down, please sit down. You know, one of the things that really made a lot of impression on me, especially concerning alumni settings like this, was one incident that happened a short while ago. And the members of that class, my set, the alumni, decided to go back to our secondary school in Ondo State just to look at the state of things and see what we could do. So we sent 3 people from our class to go. And when they went, they passed through a place that used to be our own shop right in those days. It used to be a big supermarket in our own estimation, 85, 86, 87, 88, and we graduated 91, but a very small shop. And it was owned by somebody who was the mother of one person in our class. But we have not heard about that one person for so many years. Nobody knew where he was. Nobody knew what happened to him. So that day, after checking out the secondary school, they just said, this is the supermarket of that our classmate's mom, and it is locked. But we know this is their house in Idoani. Can we just check and ask what has happened to this guy? We've not heard of him. So they went to the house and knocked the door. And then an old woman opened the door for them, who is the mother of the guy. And they prostrated, Mommy, Ekason, yes, ma. Hey, we are the classmates of, and they mentioned his name. And we said, we have not heard of him in a long while. And we said, we just want to check on him. And the mom breathed, she sighed, said, he's inside the window. So the 3 of them, very excited, thinking, we've not seen this guy for years. Nobody has heard of him. They opened the door to that room and they saw there was pitch darkness everywhere. They could hardly see. But then, as their eyes were getting accustomed to the darkness, they saw that there was a figure, a form lying on the bed, on the floor. So they approached him. And one of the 3 people who went is the class jester. You know, you have them everywhere. The one that has the funny hole that is always very funny. So that one just spoke up and mentioned his name. Everybody knows his voice. His voice is one that you can never forget in 1,000 years. So he spoke up and mentioned his name. And the guy that was lying on the floor, he shouted his name. He shouted his name 3 times. Mentioned his name. I don't want to mention it because people are listening to me all over the world. I mentioned his name 3 times and shouted, Mommy, Mommy, Imolede. The mom rushed in, and it happened that the guy was doing his master's in Ife and had an accident, had a spinal cord injury, and had been in that state for almost 10 years. They had spent everything the family had to take care of him. Supermarket shut down, everything shut down. So they brought him home. He was just lying down as an invalid, 24 hours a day, right there. But our alumni walked in at that time. He had the voice of one person and shouted, Mommy, Mommy, Imolede. When they shared that story on our WhatsApp, everybody broke into tears and started crying. Do you know what? That day, in less than 1 hour, we raised over 2 million. Okay? And people volunteered because we had doctors working in OAUTC and TH. We have doctors everywhere. People sent a car to go and take him. Let them go and even look at what can be done for him. All right? And then we started the process of rehabilitation and all that. And we were so happy when we had the reunion and the guy came on the wheelchair. We were so happy. So that is one of the purposes of alumni. And that's why I cannot forget, So please, I want to encourage you, let it go beyond the virtual meetings, let it go beyond this, let it reach and percolate into every social facet of our lives. I just thought I should talk about that. Okay, thank you. So please be active, don't just be passive members, be active. One of the things we do in our alumni, we have the welfare grants. It was just the ESCO that just called some of us that can say, look, we have a lot of people going through stuff here. So can you donate any money? It's not a loan. So we actually set aside 2 million. It's a grant. We put it there, one of the people who manage it. And then anybody that needs money, okay, just for 3 months, is interest-free. You come to us, we take your post-dated checks, we take all those things, okay? We give you a letter virtually and all that. And then we'll give you maximum of 500,000 naira. For 3 months, you must return it to be recycled. Another person takes it interest-free. We've been doing it for, since the beginning of the year. No defaults and all that. And we do it just to help each other, And so there are a lot of initiatives you can come up with for this alumni to help one another, to groom one another's business. Somebody is setting up a business. Some people can just come together and say, okay, what can we do to help him, to take this stress off him? Okay, can we help to pay for his workspace maybe for 2 or 3 months until he finds his feet? You don't even need to make it known to the whole body. Just the escorts come together and you have some people who are doing very well, who will help those who are not doing very well. Because that way, everybody can come up together. Yes, all right, thank you very much. I want to celebrate Reverend Taiwo Bajobi this morning. Thank you so much. Very lovely things about you. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for the mentorship. Thank you for raising all these people. A lot of people might never know the kind of investments people make in their lives. Yesterday, I attended the send-off party that was in Ibadan. I had to go to Ibadan yesterday. I used to head my team in the Southwest as the regional market, but in January this year, I moved to another role as the executive technical assistant to my unit. So they decided to just send off party for me last night. And I sat there and I was listening to what a lot of people said. In fact, just like this, I was shocked when they told me that some of my former staff were logging in from Canada and they were talking. They said they had to talk 2 minutes. Somebody in Canada, 2 people from the US, and I was so emotional. Looking at how an ordinary banking job, being a leader, can actually impact some people's lives. Somebody told me he didn't know how to write, but at any time he writes, I shred his writing. I said, go and write again. I was sure when he said the first time he wrote, I said, this is shallow. And all that, and he said he pushed me, and now I can do this. I saw people who started as account officers for the rules of the Ghana branch managers. I saw people who have moved on to other places, and I was so excited. The Bible says that we will see the reward of our labor and our souls will be satisfied. That is what pastoring is. You look at people, you look at what has happened to their lives, and you are happy that this is what God has been able to do through your hands. So, Reverend Opajobi, I want to say, we celebrate you, sir. It was UBC, but I know so many. I used to see Reverend Abibola. So many years ago, that was when we were graduating. He has white beard. I think he has a son of cousin Laura Abibola. I think he's in Canada now. My very good friend. Met so many years ago. So I don't think I'm in JKC. I'm happy to see my friend there, Reverend Chooks. And my landlord, a member of UBC. Yes. Oh, really? Yes. And not only was landlord my welfare officer, we belong to the same political group, and we also anointed him as president. And I'm happy. And Reverend Chooks has been my friend for so many years. He has shared some very personal and intimate things with me. I've gone to his office, he's a very courageous man, one of the most courageous entrepreneurs. And thank you so much for a lot of times coping with me, having to understand me. All right, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you, ESCOs, for this platform you're giving to me. Hopefully, we should be able to do justice to what the Lord wants us to talk about today. So in about 30, 40 minutes, and then I'll be out of your face. Thank you for this opportunity you've given to me. I really appreciate you. The Lord will take you higher. Amen. In the name of Jesus. Holy Spirit, we ask that you help us this morning. As we go into this, we ask that you expound it in our hearts. Let your light illuminate every darkness. Give us more understanding and help us, even more importantly, to do what we have had to do. In Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, I have my slides here. I'm going to be speaking about building a rewarding future through investment. I'll be sharing a few stories, some very personal, so that we can all understand, and hopefully, maybe later on we'll have time for questions also. Now, there are five reasons why you need to plan for your future. I'm happy we are discussing this when a lot of people, I can't call you young again anyway, but a lot of people are still relatively young in their career. People are still in the planning phase. And so it's good that we're discussing this kind of thing at this time. So there are five reasons you need to plan for your future. The first reason is inflation. A lot of people are saying, maybe I'm young, why do I need to, I just started my career and I'm not going to retire until 60 and all that. I thought I was young when I started my career. I started my banking career when I was 25, right? Now I'm 46. 21 years has gone by just like that. 21 years has gone by just like that. I can still remember the very first day I got to banking school. So I have the memories. And before you know what happens, time flies. You are 30, you are 40, you are 50, you become 60, you become 70. Time flies. Time is very short. So it's very important that we begin to plan for our future. Very, very important. So the first reason is inflation. And when you're talking about inflation, you're talking about the fall in the value of money. Oh, you want to look at a good idea of inflation, you come to Nigeria. Come to Nigeria, yes. While my wife was preparing for my father-in-law, we were praying for my late father-in-law's celebration of life, she decided to go and buy a bag of rice. And men, you are very lucky. If you are married here, you're a very lucky man. Some of us don't know what our wives do to put food on the table. We just give them money, and then we don't know the price of anything. They just come and we just want to see our food on the table. So my wife just told me that and said, I bought a bag of rice. She just said it casually for 35,000. And then I looked, I said, 35 what? 35,000 naira. Bag of rice, 50 kg. Say yes. I said, are you sure? She said yes. I said, wow, because at the end of the year, every year, December, I buy a lot of bags of rice to give out to people, family, friends, some customers. And I know the last time I bought it was 16,000. It was 16. So in just less than a year, a bag of rice from 16 to 35,000. I had to put a post out on Facebook that day because I was shocked. Some people were laughing at me and said, did you just come to Nigeria? But when you don't go to the market, some of these things. And I said, I compared it to the minimum wage. Minimum wage is 33,000. So a bag of rice is even more expensive than the minimum. Your minimum wage can no longer buy a bag of rice because of what? Inflation. That's a very easy definition of inflation. All right? Then you begin to look at things like the exchange rates. The exchange rate. Sometimes last year, the exchange rate, dollar to naira, was how much? About 300, 350. Right? In 2015, it was about 150, 200. But as we speak, thankfully it's coming down. But about a week or so ago, it was about 580 naira. Now it's about 550, 530, and we pray it continues to fall more. Some people will say amen because it pays their business. But when you trace it backwards, in the 80s, $1 was just 90 kobo. So you begin to look at your money, and there is something they call time value of money. I don't want to talk about that right now. The 1 million you had last year, if you put it in the savings account, is no longer 1 million. Yes, really? Yes, sir. It has diminished in value. What it can buy at that time, it cannot buy right now. So you project into the future. If just talking about 2 years, 3 years down the line was like that, imagine talking about 20 years in the future. And look, this is not localized to Nigeria, it's everywhere. The value of $1 million now is not the same value of $1 million in the 80s, even in the US. It was more then. So you begin to situate things. Under Abacha, $1 was 22 naira officially. Even though unofficially it was about 80 naira. But then we thought things were very difficult. You know. So, and the major reason is we don't produce much of what we consume. So everything is dollar denominated. So when you put everything together, you look at inflation. Inflation is one major reason why you cannot just leave your future to chance. You can't leave your future to chance. Number two is retirement. Retirement. You are going to retire one day. Either you retire from your job or your job retires you. Some people are going to get fired. Reality of life. One of the things I ask people is, if they were to fire you from a job today, can you survive for the next 6 months if you don't get another job? A lot of people can't. That's why some people get fired from their job today. Come and look at their life 1 month down the line, you begin to wonder, what has happened to this man? Because many people cannot keep up with their standard of living. Many people cannot. And that is why I tell people, the fact that you can afford to live in VI now does not mean you should start to live in VI now. Life is in stages. So the fact that you can afford to live in VI now does not mean you should live in VI now. Maybe you should live in Yaba and save some money. Your standard of living should not show how much you are actually earning right now. It's not necessary. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to. You don't need to. One of the things, if you follow me online, Twitter, where I share about personal finance and all those things, one of the things I shared before was the fact that it is my own personal belief that if you cannot pay, you cannot from your monthly salary, okay, I've modified my thinking a little bit because of inflation. If for at least 6 months of your salary cannot pay your rent, you shouldn't be living in that house. You shouldn't be living in that house. Before, my belief was just 1 month, but I modified it because of inflation, because that was actually what I practiced. When I started my career and I moved out from my father's house in Ibadan, right? The first house that I took as a bachelor was 27,000 naira per annum. A 2-bedroom flat in Ashi in Ibadan, and that was in year 2000. 27,000 naira. My salary was 33,000. So I always, from 1 month's salary, is what I take and I pay my rent. That's what I did not have furniture in that house. Some of you must have read my story on the Daikeji. I did not have any furniture. In fact, the first furniture I bought was by contribution. I joined 10,000 from people in the office. And I went in front of a place in Ibadan. If you know that place, Group Medica in Mokola, they used to sell furniture there. I bought my leather furniture, 40,000. It was so expensive, I could not sit on it. I used to sit on the floor. I used to sit on the floor. 40,000 naira furniture. Leather. I sit on the floor. My fiancé, then now my wife will come and visit me. I will allow her to sleep on the couch. Me, I will sit down on the floor. We have a picture. It's online. It's viral. In Daikeji, a lot of them published it. I sat on the floor like this. My wife laid down on the furniture. You know, my tie was slightly loosened. I sat down like this. It's better that way. The TV that I used for many years, I bought it when I was in Lautech, a 14 inches sharp television. It was in my house for so many years. Even as a married person, that TV was there. You don't need to impress anybody. You don't need to. So from that 27,000 naira house, later the landlord increased it to 50,000. And then, you know, we quarreled with him, and then I moved out to another 3-bedroom flat that was, I think, 70,000 initially, and later 100,000. 3-bedroom. If you see the space can, in that compound, can take about 30 cars. Very large. I will come out in the evening, I will take one. And then I was redeployed to Lagos. I could not afford rent. I spent with my friend at Ikosiketu for so many months, until I was able to now put money together and get a place at Community Road in Yaba. And it was just a studio apartment. And I was a banker. I was a branch manager at that time. But I knew that I needed money for so many other things. I was already building my house. So why will I now take the money that I should be using to build my house to go and rent one gargantuan flat somewhere that I don't stay in for most of the time? 6 a.m. I'm already out. 11 p.m. is when I'm in. Weekend I'm in church. How many times do I stay in that house? And then I spend so much. I would rather spend it on my personal house than be there for me. And so after some years, my wife was outside the country then, came, and then it was after that I moved to Magodo. I was a regional head then. Then I moved to Magodo. So many of my friends were living in VI, but I was building my house. And today, I live in Lekki because I can afford it. So it's important for you to understand that you're going to retire one day, or you may get fired. So what happens? Do you have enough to last you for 6 months? You will get fired. The energy you have right now, you're not going to have it forever. I'm not going to be able to do this forever. I'm not going to be able to jump around. You're not going to be able to make all that money that you are making forever. That energy, diminishing returns, will age, will take it. Age will slow you down, one way or the other. All right, so retirement is another reason. Number 3, long-term goals. Long-term goals, family, education, home purchase. Some of us want to send our kids to schools abroad. Man, it costs money. Not only abroad, even Nigeria. Some days ago, my daughter was preparing for a test. So I was reviewing something with her. She wasn't paying attention. Hey, I called her name. I said, if I spank you, you know how much I paid? You know the kind of money you pay now. I told my daughter, she was just looking at me because she can't understand. I said, from my primary school, you had all the money together to my secondary, to my university. It's not equal to one term of your own. And you won't pay attention. Things are expensive now. And we want to send our kids abroad, to school abroad. So those are some of the reasons you need to plan for your future. You need to begin to plan for their future now. Our children must be better than us. Yes. Your children they don't have to struggle the way you struggle. Yeah. If they struggle the way you struggle, about parents. Yes, sir. Hello? That's what the scripture says now. A righteous man leaves inheritance for his children's children. That means their life must be better than yours. Your father didn't live for you, you must live for your children. You struggled, they don't have to struggle. Let me tell you the truth. All these things, I struggle, my children too must struggle. Poverty mentality is worrying you. And let me tell you, research has shown that when children don't struggle, all right, and you teach them the laws of personal finances, you take them to places, take them on vacation, they are less likely to steal. You know why? They've seen it. But some of the people who were very hungry, when they suddenly come into wealth, they want to grab. You know why? I don't want to go back to where I came from. But those children, they know where they came from. You've already given them a very high sense of esteem. They can interact with people. They've seen it. They see you put dollar on your table. It doesn't look like anything to them. So they are more likely less to steal when they come into public office. Somebody listening to me. So long-term family goals, family, education, home purchase. Number 4, emergencies. Emergencies like health. Sometimes life happens. Hello? Sometimes life happens. A few weeks ago, a former managing director of a bank was MD of a bank so many years ago. People had to be asking for people to donate money for transplants for him. Unfortunately, he passed on. You know, there are certain illnesses that can wipe off everything you have said. It will not happen to you in Jesus' name. No, sometimes, no matter how much you have, one illness can take it from you. One full dose of chemo, just one dose of chemo is about 1.5 million. Right? Kidney transplants in Nigeria cost about 10 million. Cost about 10 million. I don't want to make it so bad. But it's just for you to understand the reason. If this is the only slide I can discuss today, I think to give us something to think about. All right? IVF, one cycle, averages about 2.5 million. 2.5 million. 2.5 million. Okay? And the older you grow, sometimes the more you need some kind of medication to take care of certain things. All right? Which is why we need to take care of our body. Exercise, eat well. You know, I told somebody time ago. I said, when you are poor and you see food, you want to eat everything. Everything is like, God, give me money so I can eat. You see, you want to move it like this and you want to just take everything. But when you now have some kind of money, you just realize that you can't even eat everything. You have to now eat in moderation. That is not fair. You see the food, you have the money, you can afford it, but you know that you can't take it. So you now take small. Then I used to have a mentor. When we have parties like this, I'll just see the man will just take salad. I say, no, she might. Yeah, we carry plates. I'll go there. After I finish one course, I will go for another course. I'll go for another course. But now I realize the reason why he does that. You want to fulfill your destiny more, take care of your body. The moment you are out of this body, you are with the Lord. You don't finish with that. So you have to take care of the body, exercise. Live moderately. You cut down your salt. You go for checkup regularly. Because you need this body to fulfill your destiny in life. Okay? So emergencies can happen. And finally, dreams. Your dreams. Some people want to go on a vacation. Okay? Sometimes you need to save to be able to do that. Some people want to start a new business. If you are an employee today, you may not be able to do that job forever. One day you will start your own business. And the best time to start is now. I tell people when you start a job, when is the best time to start your exit? The day you start the job. Start to plan your exit. Know that it is not your Adebayo & Co. Nigeria Limited. If you work for one company, it's not your father's business. One day you will leave. No matter how good you are, you will leave. Okay, so you want to start a business. Some people want to relocate. Okay, and it takes a lot to be able to do that. Nowadays, they will tell you, you must have 10 million in your account, or something. And you see people rushing around, please borrow me 1 million, borrow me 2 million, we've done it in 3 months, and all that. These are things you can actually plan for on the long term. All right, can I move ahead? So let's quickly talk about how to grow your money. Please, once it's time, just stop. I'll just stop. Okay, how to grow your money? 4 major ways by which you can grow your money. You can either become by being an innovator. An innovator is somebody who finds a way to do things better. And I tell people, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to reinvent the wheel always. We now have, the banks we call new generation banks now. They did not reinvent any wheel, right? What they did was to do things better. In the days of my mom, I used to follow my mom to the bank. They used to have tally number. And my mom will collect tally number and go and do some other things and then come back. But then some people just came and said, we can do these things better. And they started online banking, real time. All right? And they decided to do things better. They did not reinvent any wheel. It's still the same money, it's still the same currency, it's still the same bank, but they decide to look at the processes, the procedures, and do it better. All right? Like fintechs are doing right now, and making life a lot easier for people. Like Amazon is doing, like the Jumias of this world, like the Conkers of this world. They are not really doing anything new, but they are just making the process better. All right? So you can be an innovator, find a way to do something better. You can be an investor. You can be an investor by putting your money into an activity for a greater yield. Maybe you put your money in fixed deposit accounts, you use your money to buy treasury bills, you use your money to buy bonds, you use your money to purchase some mutual funds. You can be an investor. You can be an investor. Some people can decide to be putting money away every month from their savings or from their income or from the profits they make in their business. All right? You can be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who does business right from the cradle. Someone like Reverend Chooks, who is an entrepreneur. And let me tell you this. No matter how difficult this nation is, the opportunities in this nation are endless. I don't know whether I should say this. Maybe I'll tell Reverend Opachobi after. I don't usually like to when I have an opportunity to speak like this, I don't like to take the platform for granted. All right. So maybe I had that impression in my spirit the moment we were singing, Oh God of Creation, and I wrote it down. But I'll tell Reverend Papa later. It's a word for somebody, but I'll just tell you. I don't want to take the pulpit for granted. Okay, so you can start business from the crowd. And one of the examples I wrote here is a few years ago, I went to visit a client, and he took me through their factory. And I was going to an Indian, he's an Indian. The moment he saw me, he said, Baba, he has spent so many years in Nigeria, I can speak Yoruba, sparsely. Baba, there is money in Nigeria. That was what the Indian told me. Baba, there is money in Nigeria. So I was going through his factory. I shared the story online sometimes. And as I was going through his factory, he manufactures plastic bottles. I saw that he had 3 lines dedicated to a particular bottle that was very small. Small bottle like this, but 3 different lines, the same bottle. I felt curious. I said, you have 3 lines for 3 bottles. What bottle is this? He said, Baba, you don't know this bottle? You don't know it? You don't know this drink? I said, I don't know it. He now called one of his people to go and bring the real drink because he was just manufacturing the bottles. So they now bought the drink. I saw it. Baby Oku. It's an aphrodisiac. How many people know it? How many people know it? No, raise your hand. I don't mean you drink it. Don't worry. Just I saw it. Baby Oku. I said, I've never heard the name before. He said, you don't know the name? You don't know it? And then the man decided to tell me the story. And that guy was shocked that there is actually money in Nigeria, only that God needs to open your eyes to ideas. The person who does, or who is the owner of that particular project used to be a Danfo driver. Oh, yeah. A Danfo driver in order. And then decided one way or the other to go to China. As an Igbo man, went to China, maybe for vacation. And then saw some aphrodisiac that people were drinking and all that. I mean, look, that's why just, this is good now. And then he had an idea. What if I make something like this in Nigeria that is pocket friendly, not more than 100 naira? He came, brought some of it, came, he did some tests, went to the plastic, and can you do a small bottle that is no more than 100 naira? He was thinking retail. Whatever you want to do, think retail in Nigeria. That's why Gala will always be in vogue. Retail. Retail. Retail means what can I get in the hands of the mass market as many people as possible. That's right. Even if my profit is 10 kobo on it. Yeah. That's why Dangote is in everybody's house. Yeah. Either through spaghetti, pasta, cement, salt, sugar, and now he's going to petrol. So one way or the other. So what can I get in the hands of almost everybody? So the guy was thinking retail, 100 naira. He brought it, he started producing it. At that time, when that man spoke to me, I understand that guy sells 3 million bottles every month. Multiply it by 100 naira. Yeah? And then multiply it even if he has 20 naira on each one. Then they showed me his house. So the house, I said, well fortified, moves around it. And some years back, he was a Danfo driver. The guy did not do Yahoo. It's not everybody that has money that did Yahoo. It's not everybody that has money that did 419. Some people just ideas. That's what it means to be an entrepreneur. You look at a place where there's a gap, where there's demand, and you meet that gap. That's right. That's it. It can be as simple as, during the COVID something, my wife runs a school in Magodo. She has a school in Magodo. Opposite, she has somebody who sells hot dogs. We buy clothes from her. But during COVID, who was buying clothes? Who was going anywhere? But that lady sat in her house and said, I cannot just sit here. There's no business, there's nothing. What can I do? And suddenly we saw Atalanta. Our email became atalanta@yahoo.com. You know what she started doing? Personal shopping for the elderly people in Magobi. She was actually going to my 12 market because they were afraid of COVID, they couldn't go out. She was going there to go and buy spices, buy tomatoes in bulk, supplying to houses, and she was making money. And she decided to have a very unique email and call it Atalanta. And Pepe will be said. So, what do you need to do as a So, being an entrepreneur does not mean having one grandiose idea. No. It can just mean you looking for, a gap in your community, your environment, and you meeting that need. And then you can be an inventor. An inventor, you create products and services. Let's quickly go to investment principles quickly. Okay, I'll run through it. So investment, let me share 7 investment principles with us. Number 1, have a plan. You must have a plan. How much do you want to have? How much do you want to eventually save that will lead to investment for you? What's your objective? What is actually your objective? Is it to plan for your retirement? Your investment objective can apply for retirement. My investment objective I'm planning to be able to open a business. So what's your, please, you can share this slide with everyone after. Okay, you can share, you have the liberty to share. So what's your objective? Is it for retirement? Is it for business? And then you begin to think, how will you achieve your goals? Is it through savings on a monthly basis? By putting money aside? Is it from your bonus? Is it from your profits? How will you achieve your goals? And you need to be realistic and you review your plans periodically. Let me give you a few planning tips. Number 1, you need to find out what exactly needs to be done. What do you want to do? The objectives. Be very clear about your objectives. It's like you are planning for your career too. When I started my banking career, my major objective was that by the age of 40, I would be a general manager. I wrote it down in the book. That was my objective. And it was a tall, very, very tall ambition because that was going to be 15 years. I started at 25. And I said, by 40, by the grace of God, I am going to be a general manager. And the next thing was, it's not just about you writing it down, okay? The next thing is how. So there are certain things your plan must explain. It must explain what you want to do. It must explain how. It must explain when. And it must explain the what. Okay? So, I mean, the what is what do you want to do? Then how do you want to achieve it? So I sat down. If I'm going to be a GM at 40, what do I need to do? I need to prepare myself. I have just a degree in engineering. Would that take me so far? Maybe not. I need an MBA. Apart from that, I cannot sit down and wait for promotion cycle because the steps are long. How many people are bankers there? You're a banker. Am I isolated? So you know the steps. Most likely from entry level to ABO, from ABO to BO, BO to SBO, SBO to AM, AM to DM, DM to manager. Some will have from manager to principal manager, SM, senior manager, some will have principal manager, principal manager before AGM, AGM before DGM, DGM to GM. And that's it, right? So I sat down, put it down. So that is the same way you must write down what is my investment objective. Now, how do I achieve the investment objective? If you cannot answer the how, please stay on it until you are able to answer it. So it's not just about listening to this. After this seminar, when you get to, you must get a book to write. You must get a book to write. So it's not just about listening to this. The real work is in writing it. And if you're able to write, and let me tell you, you will not write it in one day. You will continue to redefine. You have new ideas, counsel is allowed. So I sat down. How will I achieve it? I cannot achieve it staying in one place. That actually explains why you saw me moving from bank to bank. So what is your strategy for investment? It's just the same thing as what's your strategy for your career development. So I said, why sit we here until we die? Scripture, right? And it's the same thing about why sit we here until we collect pension. Unfortunately, most jobs are not pensionable. It's the pension you pay yourself. So why sit we here until we die? Right? So I said, no, I have to move. So after 2 years, I got another opportunity. I moved. Moving comes with its own risk. All right? But I decided to take it rather than stay in one place. So your movement can either be horizontal or vertical. So I decided to start moving. So after 2 years, I moved. After some few years, I was always looking for opportunity. The nickname my friends gave me there was aggressive buyer. But I had my own strategy, my objectives. Because at 40, I want to be able to hit that mark and all that. Now, if I hit that mark at 40, not quite. But by 40, I became a deputy general manager, which was just one step two. You need to aim for the stars. So that aim for the moon. So that even if you don't hit the stars at the moon, you land among the stars. You are still very close. But if you don't have an aim, you don't have a how, even when you achieve it, you will not know. So it's important for you to sit down and have a how. What is your strategy for your investment? How are you going to do it? Okay, so what resources do you need to be able to do it? Some resources of time, some put more energy into your business, some you need to have multiple streams of income. One income cannot help you with the kind of investment you are looking at. Okay, I'm still going to go there and speak about multiple streams of income. A lot of people don't understand it. Okay, how much time do you need? What time? You must give yourself a timeline. Like I gave myself 15 years. Some of you might say, in 10 years, this is what I want to get. In 5 years, this is what I want to get. Okay, do you need any training or skills? What time frame for execution? What problems do you envisage? Because there will be problems. How do you solve them? All right. Do you have a monitoring system in place? A monitoring system can be an accountability system where you speak to somebody. My investment goal is to be able to make 10 million by the end of this year. But let somebody be your accountability partner. Maybe your wife, if you're married, maybe your pastor, maybe a good friend of yours that can be your toe holder, that can ask you questions. You told me that you would have said so. Oh yeah, how much have you saved? I do that for a lot of my staff. I have some of my staff open your account for me. Let me see what you have said. Thank you. Oh, all right. You know, I tell them, open your account for me. Let me see what you have said. Some of them, I force them to join cooperative. So we put so money aside. All right. Some of them, I ask them, how much did you send to your parents this month? All right. So you have a monitoring system and a feedback mechanism. Number 2, investigate before you invest. Investigate before you invest. Don't rush to invest in anything. The easiest thing to lose is money. Okay? Don't invest in anything you don't know anything about. Don't invest in what you cannot monitor or what you cannot control. Control is key. And I tell people, if something is too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Return on investment, 20%. Agree. I have a farm now. Don't be the same family with you. Don't be the same family with you. I used to do jam and pineapples. I stopped it because they were stealing too much from me. And somebody will say the same thing, 20%. Where is even his farm? Have you gone there before? So me, I turned to animals, the one I can count. Yeah, that's what I do now. I turn to animals, the one I can count. Because I caught people who were stealing my yam. I had a good harvest the first time. Then I saw people who were stealing my yam. You still think there's something under the ground. But there's nothing, they are stealing it. So I caught them. 3. Took them to the police station. But guess what? Because my farm is right in front of the public school I adopted. 2 of those people were parents of the children of children I was paying their school fees. I looked at them. I said, "You're even stealing my things. What do I do?" At the end of the day, I told policemen because the whole community came, they were begging me. The bandit who's blind came begging. I said they should release them. So in the evening, the bandit called me again and said, they've not released them. I said, I told the police to release them now. Because I've made up my mind, I'm not going to the farm again. You are the one that will lose. Because some of the laborers are people from your village. And he said, the police said they will collect bail, 10,000. I said, go and pay it now. He said, we don't have money, sir. Please help us. So I started thinking. You stole my thing. Now me go still pay. So I had to call the IPO. Please. He said, we are releasing his return. I said, please, they don't have money. Just tell me, send me your account number, let me credit you. I just gave something to them to release them. And I didn't go back there. So I tried to do animals, the one I can count. My sheep, I know them. My pigs, I know them. Right there. So control is key because a fool and his money are soon parted. So it's important. I would have given you a lot of examples of Ponzi scheme, the days of Sobudogoji, days of treasure line, and not because it happened to me, but I don't have time. Okay. Number 3, the best way to get rich is to get rich slowly. Learn the ropes. You know why? Success is not overnight, success is over time. You need to build some muscles. You need to acquire know-how. All right? It's important. The best things in life takes time. You need to understand the principle of compound interest. When things compound, it takes patience. When things compound, it takes patience. Okay, number 4, have multiple streams of income. Now, multiple streams of income is not necessarily starting different lines of business. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. I'm a banker, multiple streams of income. What can I do? I run into a bank. Multiple streams of income. They said 2 is not enough. There are 4 rivers that water the garden of Eden. So 2 is not enough. I need about 4. What do I do? Hey, the guy ran again, start his school. Okay, it's 3 now. They said I need the minimum of 4. What do I do? What do I do? The guy ran again, and then I want to build a hotel. No, that's not the way multiple streams of income actually works. You need, when you're thinking of multiple streams of income, be thinking value chain. Be thinking value chain. Look for ideas around what you currently do. Look for ideas around what you currently do. I will give you a very good example. My wife runs a school. She has a school in Magodo. What is the value chain of the school? So that you don't deviate away from the skills that you have that can really help you. So what's the value chain of the school? Number 1, the easiest value chain is start another school, another center. That's why you will see a lot of all these schools have centers all over. The more you have, what they call economies of scale come to play. Right? Number 2, you can start selling books. You can start selling books. Educational books, educational material. It's not only your parents that will buy, other schools will come and buy from you. Because you use the same curriculum. Right? That's value chain thinking. You can begin to sell uniforms. There are popular areas in Lagos where all they do is sell uniforms. School kids, my daughter buys from them. They will sell canvas, sell trainers, sell uniforms. When they, people, schools actually contract out their uniforms to them. Okay? You can decide to start a fun park. In my wife's school in Magodo, because she has some space in front, people actually come to rent it for birthdays. That's another additional stream of income. So you charge them, you want to use my generator, this is how much. The space, this is how much. You want to use some of the toys in front, this is how much. You can actually start a fun park. And the market for fun park in Nigeria is huge. People don't have where to go weekends. You can become a consultant, consult for other people who want to start schools. You charge them, help them to set up. You can train teachers. There is a particular training my wife attends somewhere in Lekki here. People come from Ibadan to attend the training. Schools from Ibadan send people. So I told my wife, I set up one in Ibadan. The Ibadan people will not be coming to Lagos again. Capture that market. That's value chain. You're a preacher, that's value chain. Books. Your books, you can sell. I write books. And I sell my books through Roving Heights. And I was shocked. Because when I used to sell my books before, you just put the books there and you'll be begging them, where's the money? Where's the money? You can't see the books again, then they won't give you the money. So I changed my approach. And I was shocked. The first time I gave them some books and they called me, send your account number. And they credited me 400K. I said, eh? So they asked for more books. I sent it to them again. Credited me about, is this 600K again? I said, ha. And all I was doing was using my social media handles to promote them. My Twitter, my Facebook, talk about that, tag that book, whatever. Those ones will deliver directly to your house. And in about a month plus, over $1 million. Hey, I said, I want so write books, you can do podcasts. That's value chain. People will listen to your podcast, and then some people will subscribe to your channel. And then you can begin to monetize it. You can do films, movies. A lot of pastors are good writers. That's what it is to me. We do movies. We've not started that in Nigeria at all. We need some pastors that will partner with some good producers and bring some good family entertainment that people can go and watch in movie, cinemas and pay for. Good content on Netflix. That people can, and there are very amazing pastors here. I know a pastor who has turned his book into a movie that people were going to watch at that KICC pastor very good. Turned this book into a movie. And people watched it. You can consult. A lot of pastors can consult. You can actually partner with people who sing. I did one recently. How many people have watched my Okelanda video on Dove TV? They show it. Okay, a few people. They show it, Dove TV, Trace TV, whatever. The music minister in our church. He featured me. And I chanted into something. That video has gone viral. People are that's how you say it. Oga me, I say yes. Ile me no. Pointed at his. I said, Ile, say yes. Ile they call the house you built. Say yes, sir. I mean, your house that you built. Say yes. At that time, I had not even bought a block, not top of land. Yes, as a man, I didn't even have a block, not top of the land. I said, Ile, say yes. That's till I got back, I couldn't say anything to him. I was just thinking, you know what? I know his salary. My salary is multiples of his salary. This guy was only earning 30,000 at that time that I was talking about. I was talking about side 2,000 and 4,005. My salary was multiples, maybe 10 times, but almost 10, 15 times what he was earning. And he was able to build a house. I started to study Mr. Lawa. What is it? See, that's why the Bible says, use Logad, go to the hands and learn. There are certain things in life you can learn from. Not just all the people who are high there. Sometimes you don't need to go to a Dangote to learn. Sometimes you need to just see that guy at the door and learn. It's one of that. Go to the hands, use Logad, go and learn their ways and be wise. That's what the scripture said. So I studied him. Mr. Lawa, he will not eat at work. He will bring food from home. When we go and go to not straight in the battle, you understand. And they say, Mr. Lawa, just give me the money. Collect the money, put it in his pocket. Customers will give you gifts because he's a very good guy. Put the money in his pocket. Savings. Yeah. Mr. Lawa always comes with a car in the morning, which he parks. When he's coming from his home, he will carry people going towards his way, collect money. Park his car during the day. When we finish work around 6 p.m., he does taxi till 9 p.m. when he goes to sleep. More money. He was a widower at that time. His wife was late, but he had 1 children in college of education. Mr. Lawa never borrows money. He couldn't want you know, and all that, and he was able to build the house. Maybe not the kind of house some of us would say we want to build, but basic house. I mean, what is in a house? It's not for you to live. Nobody comes to knock on your door and say, oh, rent. And his story humbled me. And I decided to just do something about my story. The next morning I go to work with Mr. Lawa, and this is how we preach is a Muslim. Ogami. When he said Ogami, I said, hey, Ogami, you are my boss. I'm not going longer, you are my boss. You are my boss. The person you are learning from is your boss. Okay, so it's important for the daily service habit. Number 6, start early and stay for the long term. The earlier you start, the better. The best time to start is now, if you have not started. Do something now. Do something about what you're hearing. Early start helps you to understand your risk appetite, When you start early, you are able to make your mistakes early and you learn from them, and then invest in happy for lifetime. Number 7, get financially literate. It's important for you to educate your ignorance. There are some books, if you have not read them, read those books. I read them regularly to refresh myself. Number 1, Richest Man in Babylon by George Classic. I read it every time. I've given my daughter to read. I've recommended it for people. I buy it for people. I don't even remember how many copies I've bought. Very good book. It's important. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, another very good book. Parable of Dollars by Sam Adeyemi, another very good book. There's one, Smart Woman Money. You know, if you're a lady here, please read it. Another very good book. The more you read, the better you get. So read books on financial intelligence. All right. I am going to stop here. I have so many things I wanted to talk about. Go to the next slide. I want to talk about God's system of wealth. You know, it's important for us to understand this. God does not give money. He only gives ideas. He only gives ideas. So it's important. It's important. People need to understand that their finances stand on 2 legs. If you're a believer, there is a spiritual leg, there's a physical leg. The spiritual leg is when we give our tithes, our offerings, and all that. But there is a physical leg, which is your work. Which is your work. If you don't work, nothing will work. So it's important. It's important. Your work is critical. It's critical. So what we need to pray for is to pray for ideas. That as you leave this place today, God will give you ideas. Ideas for your business, ideas that will help you to invest, ideas that will help you to be able to save money, ideas that will help you to go ahead and cover up on your investment plans. I'm going to stop right here. The slides will be shared, quite a few things. Maybe later we'll talk about them during the question and answer session. I want to thank you for the opportunity you've given me today. Thank you so much. I pray for everyone here today that the Lord will bless you. Amen. The Lord will cause His face to shine upon you, and the Lord will give you peace. Amen. From this hall today, and for those who are watching us virtually, people will start global businesses. Amen. Businesses that will shape this nation. Amen. Businesses that will be trans-global. Amen. That will be transnational. That will go beyond the shores of this nation. Amen. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you so much.